Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Uncaged. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me today, as always, by my side is my boy, DC in the place to be, Daniel Crimmins. Daniel, how are you, man?
Michael, I am fantastic. It is, as we are recording this, is Easter Saturday. We got Easter tomorrow. Gonna have some good food, some good drink, and we are 1 week away from WrestleMania. 1 week from today is WrestleMania Saturday, WrestleMania 40. It's gonna be an amazing show. I'm getting hyped. And as Mojo Rawley said, what is it, Mike? What do we do?
We don't get hyped, we stay hyped.
Because what y'all got to realize is me and Mike, we're New Yorkers. We got that East Coast flavor. And, you may take us you may take Mike out of New York, but you don't take the New York out of him.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
We still got it. We chop it up.
That we do, and we're going to be chopping up on a hell of a topic here tonight, as we are going to talk about stuff that we got away with back in the day that you can't get away with now in professional wrestling. And oh my goodness,
there is quite a lot. And folks, I've been on a bit of a journey, if you will. I remember telling Mike about this last year, around last December, that I kind of was toying around with the idea of watching every WrestleMania from WrestleMania 1 to WrestleMania 39.
Mm-hmm.
And folks, as of a couple days ago, I did it.
He watched all of them. All of them.
Every single one. WrestleMania 1, which you think, spread over a couple months, that it's not bad. But you also got to realize it's life. I'm in the middle, getting a house and work and just general life, and everyone. And honestly, some of them were great, and some brought back a lot of good memories. Some of them, oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, it gets rough when you get towards the later era of the Attitude Era. And once we get to like WrestleMania 20, it starts with the 4-hour stuff, and then it just keeps going on and on.
Yeah, and even as we talk about what you can and can't get away with, one of the biggest glaring things is commentary. And because you got to realize WrestleMania 1, that would have been
1985.
Yeah, 84.
85. 85.
Are you sure?
Yeah, March 1985 was the first WrestleMania.
Oh. Anyway, you can tell it's dated. Some of the older commentary is dated. Certainly, I mean, folks, you want a big example? Jerry Lawler. Why do you think he's not on commentary anymore?
Puppies, puppies, puppies. Look at the puppies, JR. Tonsil hockey.
Yeah. That's a big that's a big thing. And even some of the comments are borderline sexist. It's like you can't say that.
Dare I say Paul Heyman? Hey Ma, I came to DC tonight and I'm gonna see Bush.
Yeah, and let's just put in general. ECW. Right off the bat.
ECW. Okay, we'll do this. Tommy Dreamer, the great Tommy Dreamer, Beulah, and Kimona. I'll take them both. I'm hardcore. And three-way kiss.
You want more recent? We'll say ECW One Night Stand 2005.
Mm-hmm.
Edge spearing Beulah McGillicuddy.
Oh, One Night Stand 06. Yes, the spear with the infamous pin of him thrusting on her after the spear. Yep.
And honestly, just as an aside, and we could do a whole episode on, the One Night Stand. One Night Stand 06, 05 was a great show. I love ECW One Night Stand 2005 because you thought, oh, it's going to be one-off, reunion show, cool. And then with 06, we knew it was going to be a reunion. And, and we talked, folks, previous episode when we mentioned December to Dismember, which, God damn you, Mike, for still making me watch that shit again.
We're going to be watching more next month. Oh, yeah.
I hate you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, looking at it, the second I knew that shit was all changed, when Sabu versus Rey Mysterio ended in a disqualification. That's when you knew it's like, yeah, ECW's dead.
I'll take it one better. Like when you got to Sabu and Stevie Richards at that Saturday night's main event, and then they both went through the table, and then they called for a disqualification, and I'm like, it's fucking ECW. It's not disqualification.
And Sabu submitting to Cena, even though he didn't tap out.
At the Vengeance 06, yeah, man. Yeah, man.
You can tell they just did it for fucking payday.
Oh, you know, they did. And it's one of those things, too. Like, you want to talk about stuff you can't get away with. I'll bring up one, especially from 2006. And you know where I'm going with this. Well, one of the reasons. Carlito, Maria's in the backstage. Carlito's T-shirt at the time was, "Do you spit or swallow the yellow with the apple?" And he goes, "Well, Maria, do you spit or swallow?" And she goes, "I swallow." And everybody's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "That's cool." And I'm like, you cannot get away with that now.
Oh, God, no.
No.
Half that, and I'll do you. I'll do you one better.
Okay.
Test when hired Stacy Keibler as his image consultant.
Oh boy.
The Test face turn. He'd been heel for a number. It's initially face turned heel. This is him being a face again. And she says, "Oh, you need a gimmick. You need something to call your face. What are we going to call your testicles?"
I love my testicles. And that was a T-shirt on WWEShopZone.com.
It was. My brother actually had that shirt.
You're kidding me.
He did.
Wow.
Got it in WWE The World or WWF New York, whichever it was at the time.
Love it.
Which, honestly, they actually had good food there.
They did. We've mentioned it many a times, and I love that place. Still miss it to this day.
Hey, it's a Hard Rock Cafe last I knew.
Yep. You're correct.
And Mike, you were right. March 31st, 1985, the very first Mania.
See, don't doubt me, man. We're both knowledge cats up in here, but I got your back. But yo, I will say this about Test, and I love my testicles. This was also around the same time, folks, when they were doing Test and Stacy Keibler and just everything that went into that whole gimmick, and especially bringing in Scott Steiner, and they're fighting over, and then Scott Steiner belly to bellies her. And all right, we'll put Scott Steiner in that. When Scott Steiner comes out to distract Test and Stacy whips off the friggin' dress shirt, and you see her bikini, and she's all on Steiner, like giving him like a lap dance. I'm like, yeah, that would not fly today.
God, no.
2004, actually, somebody brought it on Twitter on this day in WWE. Chris Jericho on the highlight reel, like right after WrestleMania 20, when Christian turned on and Trish turned on Jericho, and they started kissing. Like the highlight reel was just Jericho calling her a dirty, filthy, disgusting, bottom-feeding trash bag hoe, and that she blows more and all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, like
basically what he used to call Stephanie.
Yes, so like what he said then, like would not fly now. No, absolutely no.
I'll also mention pretty much the entire Attitude Era, like
Triple H. Well, they showed this Triple H telling that girl to pull up those.
Yeah. There are two segments that I'm referring to. Option number one, Kai and Tai.
Choppy,
the one, the choppy segment.
Your PP.
Why do I think that was Vince Russo's doing?
Bro, here's what we're gonna do. Lorena Bobbitt.
Vince, bro. Here's what we gotta do. We got
Lorena Bobbitt.
We got this Japanese Yakuza, bad guy. And we're gonna have him chop off Val Venus's ding dong.
Bro, I was watching the news and Lorena Bobbitt cut off John Bobbitt's penis, bro. And then she threw it into the field, bro. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a John Wayne Bobbitt, Lorena Bobbitt moment on Raw, bro.
And that was a Russo thing.
Absolutely it was. This is the same man who with Ed Ferrara used to book Raw while watching the Jerry Springer show.
Then, of course, you also got to mention Bubba Ray Dudley powerbombing an 80-plus-year-old woman off of the stage.
Yeah, you can't do that now.
Oh, God, no. Dude, they would lose so many sponsors right now.
Oh, my God. Like, well, I'll even do one better. Like, I'll fast forward to 02 when Jamal and Rosie, 3-minute warning, God rest their souls, took out Moolah and Mae Young. Like, you can't do that.
Both of them.
Both of them. Randy Orton, and I still am very like reminiscent of this. Like one of his first RKO's as the Legend Killer was to the Fabulous Moolah, which was ugly, and he RKO'd.
Didn't he punt kick her too?
No, it was just an RKO, but he dropped her on her dome piece. He RKO'd an 80-year-old woman on live TV.
Now, as the story goes, Bubba did not want to powerbomb Mae Young.
But Mae Young's like, give
Mae
it to me.
Young basically, from what I heard, basically got in his face and said, listen here, asshole. You're going to do this, and you're going to make it look good, or I'm going to kick your ass.
And she would have.
And he even said, he's like, what do I say to that? Like, okay.
All right, we're gonna do this. I'll give you.
You and I both know that nowadays.
No, like I mean, we've touched upon this before, Randy Orton, but like, remember when he feuded with Hulk Hogan in like 06 going to SummerSlam, and he did the mock Hogan knows best, and he's like kissing Brooke, and I'm like, Brooke Hogan at this time was like 17 years old, and I'm like, the symbolism of this is like really, really raunchy.
Now,
yeah. Oh, bro, if they did that now, holy hell! Oh my god, no. Yeah. That
looking at you, Vinny.
Looking at you, Vinny, and also John Cena with that rap where he's like, John Cena's like a pinwheel, you can blow me, and you know what I'm saying? I Lita's a slut. I couldn't even stand next to her. She gave me gonorrhea in that rap, and I'm like, you can't say that now.
Oh, yeah.
Crime Time throwing her stuff as the part of the wholesale at Survivor Series 06 and throwing her lingerie and panties into the crowd.
Crime Time in general.
All that those Crime Time ankles you can't do now.
Like, even back then, like, this was what, 06, right? 06,
when they first came in, yeah, 06.
And even back then, dude, I remember seeing, like, the New York Post, like, it was like, got a stereotype much?
That's the thing, too. It's like when they first came in and they're, like, robbing the convenience store and JTG's on the camera, like, shout out to my boy Day Day and, all that. I'm like, we know what you're doing. We know what you're doing.
Yeah, like, dude, just stop.
Dare I say do-rag Vince? Old do-rag Vince. What's up, Holmes?
How about when he was ECW champion and there was that backstage segment with Sabu? Look, guys,
it's a member of the town. So bad you can't do that now. No.
I mean, here's the thing of it. Sabu's real name is Terry Brunk.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
No.
And
Sabu even said now, like, he needed the money. That's why he put up with it for as long as he did.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of other stuff. Oh, okay. I'm going to say this ECW just because I was there for this. August 06, when it was like it was like an Extreme Rules match. It was Test and Mike Knox against Tommy Dreamer, and I forgot who the hell his tag team partner was, but there was a tag match, and Tommy Dreamer smacking Kelly Kelly's butt. And the reason why I say this too, Kelly Kelly was 19 at the time, people. So if they did that now, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No, not happening.
There's so much. Like, and like the sad thing of it is, you look back at so much of what WWE has done, whether it was stuff Vince did, like also given what we know now, like so much makes sense.
Dare I say, Big Dick Johnson, Chris DeJoseph, and his thong.
And then when he decided to piss off the Sandman.
Oh my God, when he friggin' got caned his ass off for pissing off the Sandman. Like, we're not going to do that shit up in my face, bro. Like, nope. I mean, like, this doesn't just apply to WWE. I'm like, early TNA had some stuff too. Like, dare I say, like when the Beautiful People's entrance came and Taz would go, let the pigeons loose. Like, you can't get away with that now. And they can't. Yeah, you can't do that now, folks. And I mean, like, it's like TNA, even if you look at it like back in 2000 and Like we'll even go like 2005, like 2006 when they started doing the paparazzi production stuff in the bathroom, and they're like trying to make fun of like hey and hey and like there's some stuff from paparazzi productions that you can't get away with now that they did. Christian Cage and Abyss like going into the pool and like trying to drown him in the pool. Yeah, like there's just so much that you really can look at that time period. It's like as a people, as a culture, we've grown, but at the same time, we've regressed of what we can find to be offensive and what we can stand up against. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's stuff that people get offended about, which is rightfully so, but then there's stuff it's just like, really,
I'll tell you one, but there's one person I don't think we would get away with now.
Okay.
Ryback.
Oh, Ryback, yeah. I mean, the guy who thinks that, The Rock is taking over the spotlight and, Cody Rhodes and should not, he's they're getting overshadowed by The Rock and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, okay. Whatever you say. Whatever you say, Ryan. Yeah.
The guy who changed his name to Ryback, literally, folks, that is his legal name.
Ryback Reeves.
From what I heard now, it's just Ryback.
Okay, well, if he wants to be fucking China or Prince or whatever, that's his business.
No, Warrior.
Warrior. And I love Ultimate Warrior, but yeah, no.
Warrior, when you honestly do a little bit of digging into the Ultimate Warrior, he was a piece of shit. Like he was.
There's
I am not. I don't like to speak ill of the dead. And I am not a fan, of some of his bullshit. And I'm not a Vince guy. Mike, you of all people know I can't.
Oh, I know you hate Vince McMahon.
But given what we know about Vince, I would have done the same exact thing. I would have fired him too.
You don't talk about the man's mother.
None of that, but like, you hold up a show. Who do you think you are, Hulk Hogan?
Right. Right. Well, no, but the Warrior, you're holding up SummerSlam because he wanted money, and then he gave it to him, and then he fired him.
Literally, the second he walked back to the back, he just says, "You're fired.
Here's your money. You're fired. Like, goodbye. That's it for you." Like, there's a lot.
Did it again in '96.
Yeah, he did again in '96. And then
I'm also thinking about the early '90s. Some of the segments with Ted DiBiase.
Oh, dude, when he's kicking the ball out of the children's hand and all that, and just a lot of the stuff that he did, I'll pay you off. Yeah. Like that with kids now, you really can't do. Mind you, it was funny at the time. And I mean, it still kind of is funny and cute, but if you try to do that now, oh no.
Nope. No, yeah, that wouldn't have applied. That would have been like, yeah, no.
I mean, if you want to make a case for Orlando Jordan and expose on the fact that he's bisexual and doing that gimmick in 2010 through like 2012, and I mean now it would be fine, but like then it's just like, oh, you're making fun of the guy because he's bisexual, whatever, and I'm like, not really, but it's just like you have to focus on what you have, and that's what you have, I mean, some things like that can be very controversial. I mean, we mentioned Muhammad Hassan many a times, but also at the same time, it fit with what was going on with the world issues, so.
We talk about Muhammad Hassan, and he came up initially great gimmick. Great gimmick. I and seeing him in the ring, dude, he was amazing.
He was a good talent, yeah.
But what do we get from him? We get you turn him into a terrorist.
When he's in like the guy, his last name is Capani, for God's sake. Like that's an Italian name.
He's Italian.
Oh boy, yeah, no.
I think he said like his mother was Middle Eastern.
I think his mother was from Middle Eastern. She was from Jordan, I believe.
I think so. I think his dad was Italian.
Yes.
So with Hassan, as soon as like the London terror attack happened,
you had to put the kibosh.
Who the hell thought that was a good idea to keep that going? I mean, I get SmackDown was taped. They should have done something else.
I agree. And I think like with everything, like they just brushed him off. lost to the Undertaker, and then he went back down to OVW, and then he's like, I don't want to be here, so like that's it for me. I'm gonna leave. And yeah, he never
Because
looked
they took him back down to OVW, and they didn't have anything for him.
They had nothing for him.
They
He's
were.
like,
You could have easily brought him back up and just said, "Hey, this is who I really am. My name is not Muhammad Hassan." Have him wrestle under his real name.
Mark Copani, or he could have gone back to the Mark Magnus gimmick that he originally was in OVW. Like he could have done that.
And just say, "Hey, this isn't who I am. This isn't who I wanted to be."
Mm-hmm.
You could have had him as like the anti-establishment Stone Cold type.
Mm-hmm. I mean, another one that really sticks out to me, it's like, I mean, for the placement of where they held the belts, like Eminem and Melina, like I remember when they first started on the roster, like anytime they won the tag titles, they would have it hanging from their sack. And I mean, you can't do that now because, oh my God, if you hold the belt that way, no, no. It's just, there's so many little subtleties, intricacies, and nuances that you can't do now that you did back in the day. Like, I mean, for example, like you look at like, you know, Test and Albert, you can't have a name like TNA anymore, even though that is total nonstop action wrestling. But to call your talents TNA because, you know, Test and Albert, but we know what it really is, tits and ass.
Yeah.
Prince Albert, just because, you know, Prince Albert named after the piercing because here's your penis got tattooed.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so interesting to me. Like, isn't it interesting just to see like stuff that we got away with? I know we're going to bounce around with this topic here, but it's just like, stuff that we didn't find offensive, but nowadays it's just like compared to even what goes on nowadays, like it's crazy to me, man.
Like even some of the stuff now, it's just like we'll use AEW for example, like the whole Christian Cage, you know, dead dad gimmick.
Yeah, freaking Candice LeRae, you beat up on her for it, but Christian can make fun of dead dads all day, every day.
Yeah, like it. Oh, AEW did that.
AEW is the best. It's better. That's why.
Yeah, let's ask Uncle Eric what he thinks about that.
Oh God, let me just bring this up briefly as an aside as we're talking, and this is a wrestling show. Tony Khan, AEW, we're the best wrestle. Shut your punk ass mouth. Stop. We know what you're doing. You're trying to do where the big boys play. Shut your punk ass mouth, Tony. Stop it.
Oh, Anthony Khan.
He just doesn't stop. That's the problem. And I mean, I'll even compare it to, like, you want to talk about Eric Bischoff, him making out with Linda McMahon on Raw. Like, that wouldn't friggin' work today because it's just like gross. Ew. Even at the time, it was gross. Ew.
Okay. I see your Vince segment.
Okay.
How about Vince making out with Trish in front of a comatose Linda?
Oh, you mean Linda just
like I said earlier, Mike, there's so much stuff that happened back then that you watch that now, you're like, oh, this makes sense.
Okay, I'll give you another.
Flaunting his affairs in front of Linda.
Okay, I will raise you one better, and this is going to involve our boy, Paul Heyman. Are you ready? 2002, when Brock Lesnar was going to wrestle Jeff Hardy at Backlash 2002, he brought out Lita's panties and threw him out to the crowd and threw the friggin' bag and goaded Matt Hardy to go get his ass kicked by Brock Lesnar on the stage. He picked up Lita's panties and flung them like he didn't just care. Yeah, Paul Heyman getting him them panties and draws.
Like, dude, there's so much. Like
Sable making out with Zach Gowen. Friggin' just so, you know, trying to seduce him. What? Tori and Dawn Marie. What? Like
HLA.
HLA, that whole HLA thing. The Billy and Chuck wedding. What? Like Katie Vick says, what? Like that whole thing.
Previous episode, go back and check it out.
Go back and check it out. But like, I know we're like, what's interesting is like that whole ruthless aggression era. Like, it's funny for me because that whole ruthless aggression era, you can't get away with now. I mean, Randy Orton doing the lingerie fashion show when he was the GM of Raw, and he like Melina's there and he's helping the girls get out of their lingerie, like with Candice Michelle and Christy Hemme and all that. And I'm like, the sexy at the time when you're like a 12-year-old like myself, I was like, oh my God, look at these women. But then you realize as you watch it, it's like, yeah, it makes sense. It's kind of dirty now.
Like, there's so much now that you look back, you're like, oh, no.
No. I mean, like, it's just, I look at it like this, like beaver cleavage. Beaver cleavage. Need I say more? Like they tried to make friggin' mosh of fucking the headbangers into beaver cleavage, like Leave It to Beaver mixed with incest. Like that's literally what it was.
How about Shelton Benjamin and his mama?
Val Venus going up to her and talking about Harry Twatter and Viscera wanting, he's got to have it.
I mean, Nelson Frazier. Was it Nelson Knight? I think was his real name.
No, it's Nelson Frazier. It's Nelson Frazier.
The late great Nelson Frazier.
Viscera doing the world's largest. God rest his soul. Doing the world's largest love machine, Viscera, in the damn pajamas.
Like, and a smoking jacket.
He literally.
Can you imagine how hot that must have been? Because, dude, those were not silk. Those were like warm. Did you know he probably had gear on under that?
And he wrestled in that every night.
Like, oh, God, that must have been uncomfortable.
But he did it. I mean, the thrusting during the gimmick, like, he lived up to being the world's largest love machine, Viscera. He got to have it.
And honestly, I will say this right now, with Mania being next week, Viscera should be in the Hall of Fame.
I think so. I don't think this class, but maybe next class.
Yeah. Like, put him in next year. Like, I'm looking forward to as an aside, I'm really looking forward to the Hall of Fame this year. I'm looking forward to the U.S. Express's, induction, which there was an interview. I think it was Chris Van Vliet. How do I say his name?
Van Vliet, yeah.
Where he was interviewing Mike Rotunda, and you really see that, Mike Rotunda, is still really, really struggling with everything, and folks, if you really don't know, Mike Rotunda is the father of the late great Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt.
Which that documentary looks amazing. I can't wait to watch that
Monday. It's to me, and folks, we talked about that. I believe that was this season where we talked about the late great Bray Wyatt.
Yep.
Or was that last season?
No, that was last season, I believe.
To me, and even some of Bray's stuff, like his NXT promos, no, wouldn't work.
No, I mean,
he was iconic, and it's, to hear that dude was 36. He's younger than I am,
mm-hmm.
and he just died. He left behind 4 kids, son. Like, I'll send you have you watched the interview, and like you can see, like he's really struggling.
No, I'll watch it. Yeah, definitely send it to me. But you even see
like, this is, you're not supposed to outlive your kids.
Right. And I mean, you'll see more of it on the documentary, but I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say, what Bo has to say. Did you also see, and I'll add an aside to that, because we are, next week is Mania, like Daniel mentioned. In our next episode, we'll do the fallout from it. But CM Punk is going to be interviewed by Ariel Helwani, and he's going to, no restrictions. He's the first interview since, forever, ever. And he's going to probably talk some AEW on that.
Well, let's just, put a little fly in the ointment, what we got to do. It's New York, so we got keep it 100, as the kids say.
Yes.
I think the kids still say that,
keep it 100. Keep it 100. Yep, keep it a buck.
So let's just keep it 100 here with you. I guarantee you there is a very fine line as to what Punk can talk about as far as AEW.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's just say Tony feared for his life. Really. I'm sure, Brawl Out and All In, all that is going to get discussed in some fashion. I'm sure, to let him go, Tony probably made him sign. Like, there was probably a non-disclosure agreement that both parties had said, okay, well, I won't say this if you won't say that.
Yeah, that's definitely the NDA right there.
Yeah, guarantee there's an NDA. Now, to what extent? Like, I got to imagine, like, specifics of what happened on that day, we're never going to know. But as far as, what actually occurred,
Mhm.
like, overall experience, I'm sure will get brought up. He's not going to say All Elite Wrestling or AEW. He's not going to mention Tony Khan.
That other company that I worked with.
Now, that could be Ring of Honor, that could be TNA, that could be AEW.
Could be anything. But
Now, from the stories, they're saying the Punk's been on his best behavior, which I will say this. I'm not a Punk guy, huge Punk guy, but I think he realizes that, hey, this is it.
I also think he realizes, like, man, like, I left WWE and now I'm in this. And again, when I say this, this is not disrespect to any of the talent, but some of those talents need to also, grow the fuck up. But Tony Khan has to stop with the more love and less mugging. Let's hug it out. Let's talk. Let's all be friends, which you can't be friends. It's not show friends, it's show business. You have to run
And
your company like a business.
honestly, I will say this: Jack Perry. I don't think he should be back. I think honestly, and I said this on the Kicking It with the TSK show. Fire them both.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You
he put
send a message and you say, look,
yeah.
this type of behavior will not be tolerated. No excuses. Done. You cause disruption like this again, anybody, this is your one warning.
I mean, what he did with Jack Perry now is he put him in New Japan, and
He's flourishing.
he's doing his thing. Good for him. But yeah, I mean, if you look at Punk too as well, I'll even add him to our topic today, like stuff that you can't get away with. Could you imagine if they ran the Serena Deeb, a woman getting her head shaved like that in 2010 with the Straight Edge Society, if they did that now?
Now, what shocked me,
Okay.
did you see Punk's promo on Raw?
Go ahead. Say it. Say it. Say his name. Who you the show?
No, I'm not thinking of that. I'm thinking of something else.
Okay, hit me.
Michael, I'm thinking of specifically when he said, they said, oh, I should do commentary. Hey, my mouth works. Just ask April.
Oh my God. Yes, you're correct.
Which, April, for those of you that may not know, April is April Mendez or April Brooks. You may know her as AJ Lee, his wife. Now, he could say, hey, I was saying she knows I like to talk.
Yeah, it just...
Or us dirty-minded adults.
We know.
We know.
We know. Down south. So...
South of the border.
South of the border, if you will. No, it's... I think that's an early indication, much like we saw with The Rock. Like, once we get to Netflix, let's fucking go.
Dude, honestly, I really think once the Netflix deal comes up, because right now they're in like a really weird kind of spot, where they're in like a gray area. And, to kind of tie this back into what we're talking about with what can and can't apply, there are a lot of things that, you just can't get away with. And realistically, some of the attitude stuff, we all put the Attitude Era on a pedestal. You do, I do. Say, oh, it's so great.
We all do.
Honestly, I'll be honest with you, Mike. Having gone back and watched some of the old, watching all the Manias, some of the Attitude Era was garbage. It was not good.
Dare I say, Sable versus Tori at WrestleMania 15 was awful.
Mania 15 in and of itself wasn't good.
Undertaker and the Big Boss Man and Hell in the Cell.
Here's another one that would never fly. Folks, to give you an idea, for those of you that maybe don't remember, WrestleMania 15, there was a Hell in a Cell match. It was Undertaker versus the Big Boss Man.
God rest his soul.
Which, weird that they had that in a Hell in a Cell. With it, retrospect was weird. So Undertaker wins. The Brood comes down through the ceiling, which that's another thing that would not happen now.
Oh no.
And Gangrel has a noose. They hung the Big Boss Man. Literally
Hung him. Yep.
And you know what? Honestly, kudos to Ray Traylor because, dude, honestly, I would not have been able to be that calm.
No, not at all.
Like he was literally as calm as could be. Like he didn't, like he wasn't struggling or like I gotta think they probably had it up, here, like right, not below the neck.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see him like he had his, but still, like, dude, there's no way. I guarantee a advertiser now would see that and be like, they would probably be like, yeah, Paul,
no,
we're not doing this.
Yeah, I mean, AEW got in trouble with Domino's because of the Jericho damage. Like then Domino's, they were like, no, like
Gabe thought it was funny. Like Jericho thought it was funny.
Yeah, a lot of people thought
it was funny. Like
they all thought it was funny, but then
and it was like it was ironic. Like who knew? How could they have known
that Domino's commercial would be airing when that was going on?
Well, like another segment that it didn't fly when it happened, and it certainly wouldn't be flying now. One of the most iconic feuds in ECW, and Mike, if you may know where I'm going with this,
okay,
was Raven versus the Sandman. Raven had abducted or had taken Sandman's young son Tyler, and Sandman's wife.
You got to do it with. Hold on. You got to do it. Tyler, don't do this to me, Tyler.
Which, let's be real here, Stone Cold Steve Austin was a WWE's version of the Sandman.
Yeah.
He was. Let's be real. Let's call it what it is.
Yes.
And then what this led to was eventually I think I'm going to say this because the fact that this happened.
Yeah.
Raven crucified the Sandman, literally on a cross, wrapped it in barbed wire.
That the Sandman belt.
Crucified the Sandman.
And we're not laughing at crucifixion here. We're laughing at the fact that we're actually saying this.
That this happened.
Yes.
Given how much our country has kind of taken, or at least in the past couple of years, has taken a hard turn to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Although looking at the screen, I'm pointing to the left, so I guess it would be, pointing to that way.
Yeah.
However is irrelevant. Now in the crowd at that time was Kirk Angel.
Yeah.
Yep. Kurt Angle, who I guess was really close to signing the ECW at the time, but saw that as like, no.
If my name is on that, I will sue you.
And yet he would go on to be in ECW, which
which
you can't tell Vince did that on purpose.
Well, the WWE's version of ECW.
The bastardized version.
Oh God! Well, no. I mean, if you even want to add Kurt Angle to this, Booker T, I want to have bestiality sex with your wife, and he's chasing around Sharmell. He closes the door, and Sharmell goes, "Ah!"
I'll do you one better.
Hit me.
WrestleMania 19, the build-up to Booker T versus Triple H, which I will just say as an aside, having watched Mania 19 is one of the more underrated WrestleManias.
It is, absolutely.
We've talked about dumbest booking moves ever.
Yep.
Booker T should have gone over in that feud.
Oh, we've said it many times.
You could have had Triple H get the title back at Backlash.
Oh, great.
And from what I heard, Triple H actually wanted to put over Booker T, but Vince made the call.
No, you're not going to lose to Booker T. Come on now.
So what I'm referring to, folks, is Booker T does have he has a past, as a lot of us do, and Booker learned from his past. They made a joke out of his past.
He's a criminal. You people, you want a criminal as your world champion? They want these kind of people would not be a world champion. Like they literally made fun of the man for his race and his criminal past.
And they did the same thing with MVP, a guy who also had been inside, had done time.
That Randy Orton promo where he's like, you know what? I'm a world champion and you're just a criminal. That whole thing. Oh my God, yeah. No.
All of that, and it's people say, well, people are so oversensitive, and it's not being oversensitive. It's just, dude, what happened to having one guy say to another guy saying, you know what, I'm come whatever day, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
Right. Like, I mean, even if you look at the Miz during the feud with like Alberto Del Rio and CM Punk going for the title, like him calling Alberto Taco Bell, like, yeah. Come on.
Now,
But
you talk about build up, about promo work,
right,
and how it could be done.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Chad Gable and Gunther for a good example of how it can be done.
It's very Rocky Balboa, like Ivan Drago kind of vibes, man.
Yeah. And just as an aside, everyone calls The Rock the final boss, this and that. Gunther, to me, is the final boss. Like, to me, Gunther's that guy, when you're playing a game and, it's like, when you get to a level and, you're getting in, it gets all quiet and you see, oh, you can pick up weapons and, you can pick up, health and armor and all that. And then all of a sudden, the music changes and you're like, oh boy. And then the big bad guy comes in. That's Gunther.
I agree. And I think, people are saying what they will. Chad Gable should be in the match, but I'm like, I don't.
And he should.
Yeah, but I think that is the person who they should have beat him. I think Sammy should try his hardest and then lose. And then Chad Gable, they go back to the fact that, he made his daughter cry, and then you can have Chad get the ultimate revenge. So, I would say Sheamus because Sheamus and him have that historic past, but I think it would make sense if it was Chad Gable. And the way I see Sheamus right now is they just did the thing where Ridge Holland retired on NXT, quote unquote, retired on NXT, and then you have Sheamus have him snap out of it, and you can set up Sheamus and Ridge Holland against Gallus, which I think would be very interesting. But I don't know, man.
Like let's be real. You mentioned that, and that's all well and good.
Yeah.
We look at the NXT tag team title scene, which honestly, if you can't see where this is going, people, and let me draw a roadmap for you.
Mm-hmm.
In the words of LA Knight, let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you.
Here's what's going to happen. The Good Brothers, Anderson and Gallows, are going to win the damn thing. And it's going to come down to who are the tag champions now?
War Dogs, Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin.
I'm sorry, I've already forgotten Baron Corbin.
He's good though.
Dude, NXT, they always have known how to book Corbin.
Yep.
And dude, honestly, Dad Corbin was over as shit. He got over. Dude, that's the guy. Let him. Even Corbin has said in an interview I saw, he's like, I'm not used to getting cheered. I don't know how to respond to this.
And you can tell he doesn't know how to respond to getting cheered.
Dude, this is what people want to see. Bring him up to the main roster with Breaker, and dude, there you go. Be a good guy. He can do it. There are some people that aren't good as heels. There are some people that aren't good as faces. Corbin, to me, is one of those dudes. He could get over as a face. He could be a mega face. I really think he could.
I agree. And Braun Breaker's in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal next week, so let's see who wins.
Are they doing that? Are they doing that on SmackDown, or is that on Mania itself?
That's on SmackDown next week.
Okay. So that should be a good show.
Oh yeah.
That brings, as I was saying, I'm going to paint a little. Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you.
Here's what's going to happen. It's going to be Gallows and Anderson versus the War Dogs for the NXT Tag Team titles.
The OC wins.
But they're going to have help. And who is going to help? It's not going to be Michin Miyim. That would be too easy. It's going to be the debut of one, the only, Tama freaking Tonga.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to happen. And, we're going to get probably as close to a Bullet Club reunion as we're going to get.
Hell yeah.
Like, dude, and honestly, NXT needs them. NXT needs the help.
I mean, the show is good, but if you add
It's a
more,
great show.
Yeah, if you add more talent and all that to like the thing, and having a lot of these talents get rejuvenated and revitalized, I think it works.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at the brief foray that Becky Lynch made to NXT. Her matches with Tiffany Stratton were fantastic.
The match with Lyra Valkyria
was a great match. I think Lyra looked like $1 million. She looked great, and it got more eyes on NXT. Even Dominic Mysterio made him look good.
Mm-hmm.
It's doable. So I think we're gonna have Tama Tonga. And it's what I am surprised. I'm always surprised when they do in-home segments, on TV, like somebody invading, and it's always like, oh, hey, we're going there.
AJ Styles and LA Knight, yeah. I've been enjoying the build to that too. Like, I'm really looking forward to that match.
I mean, honestly, LA Knight should be in a title picture somewhere, but
this is a great Mania moment for him.
I think I will say this. I do think AJ is kind of on the back end of his career.
Agreed, but what the hell? What a way to go out, man.
Honestly, I really could see AJ doing like a coaching gig in NXT. Like,
okay, I'm gonna do this now because it again ties into the topic, and this is what you get. Like, we have tie-ins to our madness here, our method to our madness, if you will. You want to talk about AJ Styles and stuff that would not fly today? Claire Lynch.
Oh,
you were the I was an addict, and Dixie Carter took me in, and you're the father of my baby.
Folks, I'll do you one fucking better. Like, dude, WWE gets so much shit. Like, dude,
TNA does a lot of shit too. TNA does a lot of shit too. Oh, like, boy.
The whole Aces and Eights segment, like, you're having an outlaw motorcycle club action.
Yes.
Honestly, as an aside, none of them could ride a motorcycle. None of them could.
They were terrible. It was just fucking terrible.
Like, and they rented all those bikes for like any segment that they needed. Dude, if I was the motorcycle shop, I'd be like, oh no. I would be like, you're paying. You're paying. But I'll do you one better. We all remember, we talk about the Attitude Era and how everybody likes to think, oh, it was the greatest shit ever.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the gang warfare segment, Nation of Domination versus Los Bariquas versus the DOA? All that.
Yep.
Look at there was a segment, I remember, it was DX versus the Nation of Domination. They were trying to get the Nation mad at the Hart Foundation. That aired. You know the segment I'm talking about.
The crock just came from the bathroom. You should have smelled what the crock was cooking.
Thank you for bringing that up, the DX Nation impersonation.
Yep.
You had X-Pac in blackface.
Hey, Miss Arquette.
I don't know what you're cooking. Smells like shit to me.
Hey.
Like, you had X-Pac in blackface. Like,
yep.
Really?
I mean, Dare I even say the Godfather's gimmick? Like the whole trade would not fly today.
You have a black guy as a pimp, which
Yeah.
it's you always talk about art imitating a life.
Which that's legit, the Godfather.
Charles Wright, aka the Godfather, aka the Good Father, aka Kama, aka Papa Shango, aka whatever
Kama Mustafa.
is or was the manager of a strip club in Las Vegas.
Cheetahs.
I don't know if he still is, but dude, I always liked the Godfather. I always enjoyed his work. Whether he was Kama Mustafa, whether he was, the Good Father, the Godfather. I always thought they could have done more with him. And hey, he's Bone Street Crew. He's an Undertaker guy.
Oh yeah. But that's the thing too. It's like we love the gimmick and we love stuff like that. But if you tried to do like a pimp gimmick now, like no, it would not.
I got another one. Another one.
Okay.
How about the Undertaker abducting Stephanie?
Where to, Stephanie?
That, and then there's also the black wedding.
Oh, where he married Stephanie and she's on the cross and he's drinking
the symbol.
Yeah, he's on the symbol and he's drinking whatever it is, whatever in the potion.
Yeah.
And whatever.
And then there was the whole thing where they had the sacrifice of Midian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can't do that now. No.
No.
People would get so pissed if we did.
You shouldn't have done that. Like,
dare I even say the live sex celebration from 2006 with Edge and Lita?
Yeah. Honestly, that whole Edge Lita Matt Hardy segment, like that should have never been a storyline.
It's either be kill or be killed, Adam, because Matt Hardy will not die. If you got into a car accident, I wouldn't be mad about it. You'd wish you were dead. I'd run your ass over.
Like, honestly, no, I've heard a couple rumors, and I don't know if they've ever said it outright. Mm-hmm. You remember when he called in to Bite This when Lita was on there? I've heard two things. Either I've heard yes, he was already re-signed at that point. Mm-hmm. I've heard no, he wasn't. Personally, I think he was.
It was good out of the way because he's like, come check me out at Ring of Honor. And what was missing? That you went with this piece of shit Adam Copeland. Like, that whole thing was a great segment.
And from what I heard, like, I think Matt, and dude, honestly, Matt has even said that it was on him. Like, he didn't handle it the way he should have.
Well, you don't go on the internet and whine. Well, I blame you for this because I'll quote you in this because you said this in the previous episode. Like, if this happened now, this would be like a Facebook beef.
Oh, yeah. Like, dude, we've all seen it. Like, folks, how many of you, and I want you to think about this.
Okay.
And, like, I want you to think about this, too. How many times have you gone on your Facebook and, you say you're scrolling on your phone and you're seeing this person and that person, and you're seeing them, like, you're seeing a boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. And you're seeing them like arguing, and you're just like, this is not the play. And I've had friends that, have done stuff like that. And it's like, I tell them like, I just send like a private message just saying, hey, this isn't the place.
Yeah, Facebook is not the place.
The world does not need to see this. This is not Jerry Springer. This is not WWE. But honestly, that whole, storyline, I don't think would happen now. I mean,
you don't need to air your dirty laundry back to your Facebook. You have to air your dirty laundry on social media.
No. Like, talk to, someone and just say, hey, this is what happened. Matt shouldn't have done. Now, granted, it happened in his house.
Right.
I don't know if it's the house he's living in now. But, it turned out okay for him in the end.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, he's even said he wishes he could take that all back.
Well, I think at the time they were also, like, Matt Hardy and Edge are almost 50 now. Well, Edge is 50, Matt Hardy's almost 50, right? So they were in
the 50-year-old.
Yes. But they were 20 years.
Don't come for me, Rebby. Please don't come for me.
come for him, bro. So they were 20 years younger though at the time. Like they were both in their early 30s when that happened.
And and thinking about it, like that whole thing, like, and I wonder now that Triple H, Paul Levesque, or whoever, whatever you want to call him, is firmly in charge. I wonder how he would have handled it. Like if he would have said, "Hey guys, let's talk this out. Adults, we're grown here," and and it made no sense. Like Matt lost like the whole feud.
The only match he won was the cage match.
Like there was first there was a street fight, then there was a cage match, then there was the Money in the Bank ladder match where it was Edge was defending against Matt Hardy.
Yeah, then Matt Hardy won the SmackDown.
Like Edge just won that whole feud. Like Matt got his ass kicked.
I think if you really also think about stuff now, like it's interesting because the latest thing that was the backlash of what we could get away with now, but we can't. Like The Rock pretty much saying, drunk and horny to the woman in the crowd, telling Cody that he shouldn't have been born. Roman Reigns calling Seth Rollins a cross-dresser. Like people went up in arms at like, oh my God, how could they say that? I'm like, he's saying he dresses like his wife. Like, just you're looking too much.
I mean, have you not seen how Seth is dressed at the last couple Manias? Like,
yeah, like really,
Cody versus Seth. Like, really?
Yeah, come on. It's just people. There is a fine line, and we talk about it in today's forum of people that get offended, which there's stuff to be offended over, but then there's the littlest things that they get offended over, and it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And I'll do you one more. Like, these same fans that are bitching about The Rock beating down Cody are these same ones that are clamoring for the Attitude Era to come back.
And I mean, look at our minds. Like when we saw him having him over that in the rain, like we're like, oh my God, he's going to throw him over this, because that was our Attitude Era minds coming in, because we remember when Rock punched Stone Cold off the bridge.
Honestly, I really enjoyed that segment. Like,
I did too.
I thought it was very well. You and I talked about it. Like I kind of thought that they were gonna, have like Roman or Solo in, like an 18-wheeler, ram the bus.
But the thing,
I actually kind of thought it was gonna be Paul Heyman in the 18-wheeler,
right? But the thing too is, to add on to your point, it's like, and this is what we criticize AEW over, it's like that is the proper way to use blood. That was Hollywood blood. That's the blood, how you use it, not how AEW uses it all the fucking time, where everybody's got a goddamn bleed. I'm looking at you, John Moxley. Like there's a time and place.
I mean, that's Mox. I think that's in his contract. I think it's in his contract. Must bleed within the first 5 minutes.
Yes. But that's the thing too. It's just like, it's so interesting to me. Like people, like you mentioned, that want the Attitude Era back. I'm like, why? Number one. But number two, this is not the Attitude Era. This is a different era, but it's not we're not going to do stuff like we saw in the Attitude Era. Like we mentioned Beaver Cleavage. We're not going to see.
I'll do you one better. Like even interviews with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, guys that were there.
Yep.
All said, hey, we did things back in the Attitude Era that we shouldn't have done.
Right.
There are things that we did then that we can't do now. I guarantee you, like Triple H, his kids are I think his kids are old enough now, and they watch the product.
Yeah,
they probably have Peacock, and they've have access to some of their dad's shenanigans, which I'm kind of curious, because I'm a curious type of person where I kind of want to know how those conversations went. Like, I would love to be a fly on the wall when one of his kids says to him, they say, "Dad, Katie Vick."
Or I'll do you one better. The barbecue for the 4th of July in 06, when Triple H and Candice Michelle are acting like, and you see the mustard like spraying, acting like they just got like, turned on and hard, and they got friggin' a fellatio by girls under the table.
Let's talk about that segment that they did with DX, where Sean was saying, where he was the WWE champion. He said, "We will not say the following. We will not say shit, God."
Ass, damn.
Like the
He's like,
whole
God
thing,
damn
they
it,
cut
what's
it
your mouth?
out. It's like,
God damn it, what's your
I would
mouth?
love to know how those conversations went. Like how would you explain that to your kids? Like, well,
Do I even dare mention, who's Vince McMahon's illegitimate son? Hornswoggle's mom. Was she magically delicious?
yeah. And that's a whole other thing. Like that whole storyline never would happen now.
No, not at all.
And now the initial story I heard was that initially it was supposed to be Mr. Kennedy. I think
Yes.
he had gotten hurt or something, and
Yeah, he got hurt, but it wasn't as bad as they thought, and then he got scrapped from winning Money in the Bank, or keeping the Money in the Bank, excuse me.
and then got released. Thank you, Randy Orton.
You're welcome, Randy Orton.
Which I think Orton now has even admitted that
He was a dick.
And how he even Orton will tell, he'll say, how I'm still employed here is beyond me.
Well, he's done some things that you can't get away with now as well, like giving the finger to fans and shoving one of them, and just the stuff that he did also would not fly today. A lot of what he did would not fly today.
We talked about the good old Pepsi Phil.
Yes.
Getting into fights with fans, which honestly, I will tell you, if you go to a show, you never put your hands on a talent.
No. I mean, dare I even say CM Punk to that kid who was yelling, "You suck," and he goes, "I hope your parents die." Or when him and Homicide are fighting and for oh God, what the hell was it? For Full Impact Pro, and they're fighting in the strip club, and then he yells at the stripper, "You're a whore!" Like that stuff would not fly today.
I'm talking about this where a fan punches Punk in the head, and then Punk punches the wrong fan.
Yes, I remember that when he was
he's even admitted saying, "Hey, I was wrong." And then I'm talking about CM Punk in the Nexus at a house show calling a fan a homo and saying you have
a vagina.
Bitch, what? Like, what was the point?
Do you also understand this? We also come from the era of Ring of Honor when do you remember Lacey in Ring of Honor who was with Jimmy Jacobs? She was in Shimmer for a little bit. Any recollection?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when she was a heel, they used to chant at her that she was a crack whore. Like that, you can't get away with that now.
No.
When the Dempsey brothers, where there was a guy, I was at this show for Ring of Honor, and you remember Sports Plus on Long Island? Okay, so I went to one of those shows, and it was the Dempsey brothers, Eric and Bobby, and somebody was heckling Eric, and the guy goes, because the guy was with his girlfriend, so the guy's shouting at him like us fans do, and he looks at the girl's girlfriend, and she's wearing an Abercrombie and Fitch shirt, and it had like the number 21 on it, and he goes, "Hey, honey, is that your age, or is that the number of dicks you sucked?" And I'm like, oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, you can't get away with that now. You can't do that type of trash talking now because somebody will get pissed.
Dude, even at a house show, that wouldn't work because now we're in the days of, camera phones.
Yep. I mean, I liked it, but Becky Lynch saying that what Rhea Ripley did with the stink face Tanaya was just, that was bad for business and whatnot. I'm like, Becky, you literally put in your book a photo of you and Seth naked with the titles around you. Like, hello, Becky.
You okay, big time Bex. You want to talk about best for business? It was a house show. House shows are not to be taken seriously. They're for entertaining the fans. And
like Shayna was like, "I'll take a stink face," and then Nia stink face, and she's like, "Oh no, whoa!"
And Rhea, it's Rhea.
It's Rhea Ripley.
You have Rhea Ripley, who is arguably the biggest star in women's wrestling right now. And I'm sorry, it's not Toni Storm. It's not Mercedes Moné. It's Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley.
Like, to me, Rhea Ripley is this generation's Trish Stratus.
Yes.
Every generation, there comes along a talent that, like with Jeff has said, generational talent. MJF is a generational talent. Rhea Ripley is a generational talent. Roman Reigns
It's a
the style of Paul Heyman.
Yes, is a generational talent.
And there was an interview where Paul Heyman was talking. He said Reigns was going to retire. Like when COVID lockdowns happened, Reigns wasn't coming back. Like that was it. He was done. He was retired. And thank God somebody talked him out of it.
That'd be Paul Heyman.
And just, I know we talk about it as a side. I love seeing the video of like the after Raw segments where, you see Paul kind of trying to fight the fans and doing the whole.
And he takes his jacket off. Yeah.
And then he starts crying and Roman, brings him and gives him a hug.
That's Paul.
Like it's that New Yorker. Like
roll.
To me, if something, God forbid, were to happen to Triple H, I would not put Brian Gewirtz in charge of creative. I wouldn't. He's a Hollywood. I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong. He's good.
Yeah, Brian Gewirtz is awesome, but he's a Hollywood guy.
Honestly, I would put Paul Heyman in charge of. Imagine Paul Heyman running WWE's creative. Keys to the Kingdom. No limit.
I mean, dare I say SmackDown 6? You could thank Paul Heyman for that.
When he turned SmackDown into the A show.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this, you and I, we always talk, and we always mention how we're all looking forward to the Hall of Fame and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot wait to see his induction speech.
And they said he's got to create it. There's no time limit. There's nothing. They're just going to let it rip.
And he's even said he's just going to wing it.
Yeah, he ain't even write nothing. I'm like, I'm just going to wing it.
Because he said in an interview, he said, what do I do? He said, what do people expect? Do they expect me to talk about my tribal chief Roman Reigns? Do they expect me to, being in that it's Philly? Do they want me to talk about, ECW? I just want to see what he's going to have to say. And honestly, I'm really just like,
talk. I can't wait till the music hits and you hear that extreme.
Now, is he going to come out to that, or is he going to come out to the Roman Reigns theme?
He should come out to Extreme Championship.
Yeah, the class. And let me ask you this, Mike.
Yes.
Since they haven't said it,
mm-hmm.
Who do you think is going to induct Paul Heyman?
There's so many people that could do it. Mick Foley, The Undertaker, Tommy Dreamer. I mean Medusa, because of their history. I would have said Brock Lesnar, but that ain't happening.
I would say Vince, not happening.
Not happening. No. There's a Stone Cold. Would be interesting. That's
honestly, I think the case could be made for CM Punk.
Yes. Yeah, that's cool.
Honestly, and hell, even the case could be made for Roman doing it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting to see who ultimately gets the honor. I could honestly see, and I know he's a TNA guy, but honestly, if Triple H and Paul Heyman came to me and said, Dan, who do you want to induct Paul into the Hall? Anybody. You can pick any person. There's only one person. Tommy Dreamer.
I mean, for me, if you also want to make another case for an ECW original, Rob Van Dam.
Yeah. But to me, the reason I say Dreamer, Tommy Dreamer was the heart and soul of ECW. And Paul Heyman's even said it. Tommy was the heart and soul of ECW.
Mm-hmm.
He was with ECW until the very end. I would say him. Hell, if he wasn't with AEW, I would say even Taz. Yeah. There's so many people, and honestly, I cannot wait to see what Paul Heyman has to say. And I think it's going to be entertaining. I think it's going to be emotional. I'm looking forward to the U.S. Express with Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda. You know they're going to be talking about Windham, about Bray,
Mhm.
and honestly, there's some back to things you cannot get away with because I just thought of another one.
Okay.
All I'll say is, Mike, it wasn't my fault.
It's the whole Kane Snitsky angle where the chair shot, he lands on Lita, and then they lose the baby, and then he brings out
And punt kick a baby.
punt kicks a baby. That would not fly today. Oh no, that would not fly. Dare I say Christian and Trish? No, Christian and Chris Jericho against Trish and Lita Battle of the Sexes, where they made a bet, a $1 Canadian bet to see who could sleep with the other first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would not fly today. Yeah, I mean, I think pretty much like we discussed in today's forum, like we gave you a buttload of wrestling as we do with this show, but anything Vince McMahon related, anything with the women from back in the day, how where women were treated with mostly bikini contests and less about the wrestling, anything of that you can encompass in this. Any character work, again, it depends on social and political climates, but
Yeah.
it's a very interesting topic to get into, and I'm really glad we have to talk about this today.
Oh,
But at the end of the day, folks, you want to see some interesting topics. You want to see back in the day what we had compared to now. It's an influx. It's a real influx of just everything.
And it's just it's a further example of this wild, weird, wonderful world of professional wrestling, which, you know, the great thing and the thing that I love is that there's literally something for everybody. You like the hardcore, the deathmatch stuff, you got your GCW. You want your storyline based, you got your WWE. You want your more match based, action based, you've got your AEW. There is literally something out there for every single person that you like. Wrestling to me is an all you can eat buffet. It's a golden corral.
That it is, and it's a very delicious, delicious buffet from Golden Corral, and a delicious amount of wrestling, good and bad. We weighed out everything today, and we shared with you some of our moments that you couldn't get away with now, but you did back in the day. And there's an influx, especially with today's day and age, of what they consider something that's very cancel culture-esque. But I think we really nailed it on everything, man. And we thank you for listening to another edition of Uncaged, and thank you for our ride of talking wrestling and everything that we do. Next week for episode 9, we are going to discuss the fallout from WrestleMania. So we will be watching that weekend of Mania, and then we'll give you our thoughts and analysis of what we thought on the shows. And just really,
we'll even do one better since I know I'm going to be watching it. Mike, I know you're going to be watching it. Well, I'd say we even include a little bit of NXT Takeover. Or actually, no, not Takeover. Stand and Deliver, I think is what they're calling it now.
Yep, I'll be watching that early in the afternoon on Saturday. So yeah, we'll touch upon that next week. So there's a lot of events to cover and watch next week. So we'll talk about the fallout, and our season finale will be booking. Like Dan has mentioned, he's watched all the WrestleManias. What would be our ultimate WrestleMania card? And then
folks, to give you a little bit of a sneak preview, a little bit, as good old Matt Menard would say, a little taste.
A little taste.
It's going to be taking all 39 years of WrestleMania and building the ultimate WrestleMania card, utilizing matches that have happened, not dream matches that have occurred on every WrestleMania. And we're going to create the ultimate
WrestleMania.
Load the rocket ship with rocket fuel.
Hulk Hogan. So, Hulk Hogan, tear down the cockpit door, Hulk Hogan, and you will soon enter parts unknown. So we will be talking about that, and when we get to our episode 10, season 4, our episode 1, I will say, because we will have season 4, planned out, but episode 1, Daniel's going to tell me that he hates me again, because wait till we talk about what's going to have in store in the premiere of season 4. But I digress. Thank you guys for listening. Now, Daniel, please promote the pile driver pundit and kicking it with the TSK. Go ahead first.
TSK will be coming back to you next week. We are going to be doing a review of WrestleMania. I believe, don't know if we're doing both nights on one show, separate shows. I'm not really sure. What I'm also going to be doing tomorrow, Easter Sunday, I'm going to be recording one of my new episodes. I've been working 5. Thank you, Mike. I've been dealing with a little hiatus. I have been doing some house stuff, getting a house, which there's a lot there. So I've been dealing with that. I'm also going to be doing a little bit of review on 2K24. My thoughts, because that's been out almost about a month now.
Yeah.
And what I like about it, what I don't like, honestly, I like a lot more than I don't like. I'll put it to you that way. And we got a lot of stuff coming. Maybe, I had Mike on a previous episode. We'll be having him on again sometime in the coming weeks, months, whichever. And Mike, you and I also have something else coming up, don't we?
That we do. You can really stay tuned to more of what we got going on with Uncaged and what we have going on just in general within this show. What I missed?
Well, let's just say, if you are not subscribed to Mike's YouTube channel, which, I know he's going to put it like probably right around down there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe, like, comment, favorite, do all of it. If you haven't done that already, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Subscribe to Mike Larkin 92. Check me out, SM Show 1 or MCL 92 on the Twitter. Larkin_92, M Larkin MB
on the X. Gotta call it X now. It's X.
Fuck the X. StephenMikeShow.com, LFCfights.com. Links will be in the description for the weekly review, Uncaged, Stephen Mike Show, Pop Culture History Podcast, LFC. You get the works. You get everything with the YouTube channel. Subscribe.
And the other show, Deep in the Heart
of Wrestling with Robert Davis and Nicola McDonald. Thank you. So everything will be in the descriptions. We love you. We appreciate you. And we will see you on the next edition of Uncaged. For Daniel Crimmins, my name is Mike Larkin. And, well, I don't even know what I was going to say. I was going to say kick that baby, but, well, just punting baby.
We'll use a current, more appropriate saying is whoop that trick.
I like that. Whoop that trick. Kick that baby. We'll see you next time.